All right. Good morning, YouTube. We're also about to go live on Instagram. All right. Good morning, Instagram. And good morning, YouTube. We got each of you today kind of side by side, both on my phone and on the screen. I figured I would go ahead and talk to a bunch of you at the same time and talk about some of the things that our ancient elders, our ancestors, our druidic ancestors, Celtic ancestors, elemental shamans and witches and Wiccans around the world, magical practitioners for thousands of years have been using ritual magic. So exciting, so exciting. Give a wave to me to let me know that you can hear me on Instagram and on YouTube. I'm trying to look at the camera on both, but Instagram's here and YouTube's here, and it's just a little bit I should have thought that out a little bit more, right? How's everybody doing? Are you having a happy Sunday? Yeah. I'm having an herbal tea deduction this morning of, I believe it was nettle, white willow bark. Wait a minute. Nettle, hawthorn, and yarrow flowers, right? So a part of working with crystals, a lot of people that are naturally attracted to working with crystals are also attracted to working with herbs and plant medicines, and I do both as a healer. So today's deduction tea is kind of, I'd say it's a bitter. It's a little bit of an astringent in there. I drink nettle almost every day. It is an incredible nutritional herb that is great for anemics, people who have malabsorption problems, all sorts of things. So nettle is just full of nutritional content and vitamins and minerals that you need, right? So I'm drinking that for that reason. Hawthorn is incredible for lowering blood pressure, lowering cholesterol, all sorts of other, and I'm going through menopause, so that's like the perfect blend for that. Yarrow is an all around general. She's a healing ally for many different types of medicine. So I'm drinking her primarily this morning to open up my mucus because I don't know if you guys notice, maybe I'm the only one who notices that I get a lot of throat congestion. And it happens normally in the morning when I want to go live with you. So in order to knock that problem out, I've got some yarrow. So that helps. Yarrow is an incredible plant ally for that. And speaking of particular magical allies, not just plant medicines and herbs like yarrow, but if you want to do a quick ritual on yourself to bless the throat chakra, if you work with the more yellowish herbs and yellowish crystals, you will get a lot further in your physical health and in your capacity to open up that solar plexus chakra, stand more in your truth, open up your power a little bit more. If you have problems with stage fright, or if you don't want to get on YouTube to share your knowledge, much like I was when I first started YouTube, it was back in 2015. And you guys remember me. I had this little flower in my hair, and I was like, can everyone hear me? And please bear with me because I'm a little nervous, right? So a lot of working with yellow calcite, honey calcite, a lot of the amber type of crystals with amber blends, anything like yellow jasper and yellow jasper blends combined with the yarrow plant medicine is incredible. You can take those yarrow flowers, spread them around and bless them, send them as an offering to source, and just go ahead and step into the gratitude of the empowerment energy that you already are when you do this blessing put yarrow a little bit to the north because that represents opening up to your greater wisdom when you're doing these rituals. So you can then create a circle of either anything yellow, whether it be a ribbon, even if you have nothing, like if you're out on the sidewalk with your children, and just have a yellow sidewalk chalk and put some yellow flower like yarrow at the top and sit there and try to do a quick little invocation of greater wisdom, motivation, and confidence for tapping into your own inner empowerment and truth. These sorts of workings with crystals, if whether you put the whole yellow calcite around the sacred circle or not, those sorts of workings with crystals are just incredible. They really open up your life if you do them, and you do them in a sacred way, versus just when you step into a ritual and you're really not in the mood and you're like, well, I'm not feeling confident even about this ritual, so how am I going to connect to my inner confidence by spreading around the flowers of a tea? You have those days, right? Right. So yellow calcite, honey calcite, exactly. The yellow jasper blends. What else? Any of the yellow crystals, or even the more yellow orange ones. If you don't happen to have any, see about that, and you'll notice that will do the same thing through the divine feminine essence of your sacral chakra. That'll work a little deeper, even if you do it in that way, right? Oh, so exciting. Let me just take a look at YouTube over here and Instagram over here. So let me take a look at some of your comments. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. And you can also start putting your questions about healing rituals. That's just one tiny little ritual I have. I draw a yellow circle or golden sacred circle around my body. Or I visualize it if I'm in a place where my environment doesn't really allot for that. So you can visualize as well. But I find that when I generally go outside in the sun when I'm working with yellow crystals, and I add an herbal yellow flower such as St. John's wort, yarrow, I can draw upon that solar plexus chakra to heal the mental components of me that could, say back in 2015, which we're using that as an example of me not being confident on screen. Well, I'm still not confident on screen. I just give less fucks about it. Cheers, right? So that's what that ritual did for me. It opened me up to just being who I am on screen without so much caring about it and being like, oh my gosh, why did I wear this little flower in my hair today or whatever? Okay, I'm just going through some of the Instagram comments. Yeah, Livako says, I have so much yarrow on a mountain. Yeah, these are mountain flowers. So yummy. Hallie says, what crystals help with goddess rage within? Well, what do you mean by help? Do you want to get that rage out and work with it, or do you want it to fester and boil away inside of you? Some people want to work towards healing rituals because they just simply don't want to feel what they need to feel. So, as you know, when you're working with Lilith energy, I'd say working with anything that embodies the energy of red. So that would be dragon's blood, for whatever herbal variety of energy, whether you're going to get that into an incense and work with the element of air, smoke, and fire at the same time is what you would bring to that offering for that ritual. And then you could draw the circle in red around you. You can even take some powdered dragon's blood and put it as a red circle. I have done this while sitting by a big oak tree, right? And sitting there talking to the tree. Oak trees are all about your masculine strength. Sometimes when we're working with that, what you call goddess rage, there's a big ritual energy of people saying, well, I want to not feel it. Well, I want you to feel it, to get it out and to work with it in a way that's constructive and healing for you. The crystals you would work with that would be agates. So fire agate is particularly wonderful. Fire calcite, the deeper calcites that are like that. Oh my goodness. Also making fire herbal tea blend. So that's the type of decoctions that kind of sit there and you make an infusion out of it. So you, whatever, say you put an infusion up at 2 o'clock and then take it out of your refrigerator at 2 o'clock the next day and use it during and before your ritual for this, I would make some fire cider. So I think I recently posted a fire cider recipe, but they're everywhere. All you have to do is Google them, and they have a bunch of the more in the Ayurvedic doshas, that's more of the Pitta dosha, which is the part of your essence that is your fire element, literally working with that element. So whatever you're doing, when you want to work with rage, you want to use the element of fire, both in the offerings that you bring to your ritual, the crystals that you use for gridding in your ritual. The ways that you use the crystal in your ritual will also help you honor that fire as opposed to trying to suppress it, because it's like trying to suppress your power. So, every good druid knows that whatever emotion you're working with, we want to extend it helpfully to others and to ourselves and to Earth. So that's how I would work with that. Let's see. Something you had for breakfast that can affect your throat. Yeah, that's why it happens, Helen, because I like eggs, and when I do the whole separation thing, my mind likes eggs and my body doesn't. And this has been a fight that you would think that I would just cave into after, I don't know, 20 years, but I like eggs. I'm not vegan. I like farm fresh eggs, and they have incredible amounts of protein, and they just do something to give me bursts of energy, but my body's like, stop it, stop it, stop it. But I have some sort of emotional thing with eggs, I think because I grew up in the South. Okay. But these teas help tame that. Yeah, Kat says, I'm just finishing up a detailed review of my journal per what the Druids did, reviewing their year with a view toward analyzing it in conjunction with how to go forward in the new year. Okay, good. What's that bringing about for you? What ritual could amplify it? Remember, guys, this year, when you're doing your rituals, 2022, there's a theme for it, and then there's a mission for it. So the theme is simplification. You can make your rituals just as easy, just as sacred, and just as simple. So simple and sacred, right? Simple and sacred. Remember those, for those of you who have been through my mystery programs, you know that teaching very powerfully by now. Keep it simple, keep it sacred, right? All right. So what is when you're creating rituals to go with your spiritual journals to talk about what you want to bring forth in your year, what you can do instead of analyzing it is to work with the four directions of the north, the south, the east, and the west after casting your circle. Do you guys remember how I taught you to cast your circle? If you're in the northwestern hemisphere, you're going to sit here and visualize a circle around your body, and you're going to visualize, and you could do this with a wand. I don't care if you don't have a wand. I have this. I don't have a wand on my desk. I'm a mom. I have this. So I could just sit here and do like this and just envision that it is around my energy and envision that it is pulling forth a golden energy, right? If you want to get like really specific, that golden energy can be pulled down from the sun. The sun represents that gold energy, that powerful energy for this circle. Or you can cast it literally by working with just a wand in the sand, a crystal in the sand or the dirt. Anything that doesn't disturb earth, you can utilize. You can put out golden crystals or even clear quartz crystals or anything in your sacred circle. I don't care what color it is. It represents the energy of pulling in the power of the sun and the golden energy of light of all the truth that is and has been and ever will be. Not really a small thing there, right? All the energy of light, love and light that is, that was, and that ever will be. That's what that circle represents. So then you're going to go forth with bringing an offering facing the north, the south, the east, or the west depending upon what you want to do, you're going to bring an offering for the north, south, east, and west, and you're going to create specific invocations. And then you're going to be utilizing the crystals. And again, we're going to be talking about how to do that very specifically in my class on February the 6th at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. All right, so you can sign up for that at PamelaAaralyn.com. I have a large 30% discount off this class right now. If you join Patreon, that's how you get the discount. Any tier level, doesn't matter. It's really cheap to become a patron. Then messages from there. We don't have too much longer to get that code. That was an early bird thing that's about to go away in a few days. All right. Or maybe Anya would know when actually it goes away. Yes, she says it's January the 23rd. Yeah, that's not long. So if you want that 30% off, please don't forget. All right. And then you can get a recording, even if you're not going to show up live and you know you're not going to be able to make it because of work. Every registered attendee gets a recording. But what we don't do, because it's just me and a tiny, tiny small team, it's always been that way, we don't resell things later. So now's the time for these types of classes, and we just won't put them back up later. I always say I will, and then, I'm a very busy mom, very active mom, so then I just don't do it. So it's just life. Sorry about that. I want to. I mean well. I just maybe one day when the kids are out of the house, I'll sit down and get to look at my website and actually put all these powerful classes on it, but it's not going to be soon. Cheers and sorry. Okay, let's see. I'm looking at questions now on Instagram since we took one from YouTube. Now we're going to go over here. Yeah, Fabi says the most usual method is running light through my body or the part that is aching. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of working with crystals, how to breathe light through a crystal, where to hold it on your body and why that works, what elemental energies you can draw through, whether or not to use sound vibration or the energy of light, and what are the pros and cons of each for you based upon the ritual, and what karma and dharma is working in your life and what isn't. So this is not just a standard, cast a circle, get some crystals and do your thing. This is talking about the deeper karma and dharma that you're working with, how to know what karma and dharma you're working with, and how to work through that based upon what you need in that moment, even when you don't know what you need in that moment, if that makes any sense. Okay, let's go to YouTube now. Let's see. What helps promote deep sleep naturally during perimenopause? I'd say it depends upon, and again, this is a YouTube question. So I'm looking back over here to user NM for that. I would say it depends upon if you're male, if you're female, what other medications you're on. When I work with plant medicine, I always have to give you the disclaimer that I'm not a doctor or a medical professional who is licensed to treat you, and I don't diagnose you. I don't offer any claims of a cure through these practices with herbal medicine and crystals. I'm just a medical intuitive, and I love doing it. It just is something that I've always, always loved, and I didn't quite have the confidence to always offer it as I was studying it. I started plant medicine initiation deep in the mountains of, oh my gosh, this is back when I lived in Santa Clara, and I met a shaman, and he walked me through, and I was always gone, always walking in the forest, learning these things. And he taught me how to talk to plants in a deeper way. He taught me specific indigenous ways of how to talk to plants. And when I started combining crystals in the process, it just amplified that, right? But he always warned me, you need to know what medicines your client is on, what current conditions they have, and you need to be or become a medical intuitive. And luckily, I was and am, so it was a little easier for me to get into plant medicine and combining that with crystal rituals. But I still found that there's so many things. Did you know there are certain crystals and herbs you can't use if you have lupus? If you work with an herb and crystal ritual combination that activates your immune system when you have lupus, that could literally kill you. So I laugh nervously. I'm not laughing because that's funny. It's not funny, haha. It's funny, nervous. So you have to be not just kind of have a basic knowledge, but have a deep connection to plant medicine and you have to know how to talk to the plants and let them talk to you and through you. But more so than that, you have to be aware of what your challenges are in the way that herbs work with each other, the way that herbs work with the medicines that people are on. So without knowing a lot about you, I can't go deep into that. But if you were a female, let's just say if you were, my medical intuition says to combine black cohosh root with red clover flower. No other type of flower. It has to be red clover, right? Just the flower. And what I would do, depending upon what I knew you were on or you were on, if you were on synthroid, levothyroxine, or anything, if you were on nature thyroid, if it were natural, or armor thyroid, if you are seeing a naturopathic doctor, I couldn't do this because it may or may not interfere. I'd have to get you to ask her. Because I don't know how that works with those things. So I'm particularly cautious if you're already on something that you're going through that's affecting your thyroid. See, my medical intuition says this is affecting your thyroid, and you actually aren't sleeping very naturally because something's up with the adrenal glands and the thyroid. So first of all, you would need to talk to a medical intuitive or naturopathic medicine practitioner or naturopathic doctor who can get that for you, get that evidence in a blood test. And then, tell your naturopathic doctor or your plant medicine practitioner what meds you're on. And then go forward from there. From there, I would say start with teas and make sure that it affects your body, about a teaspoon and a half of each of them. Steep it for 20 to 25 minutes, and do that 3 to 4 times a day. Just go ahead and be drinking that a good bit. If you have any reactions, stop. All right. And go back to your doctor or naturopathic practitioner and tell them. All right. Yeah. All right. And insofar as crystals and rituals for that, I would say you need to be looking deeper at the loss of your feminine power. So for whatever that means to you, whether you're male or female, whether you identify even as a gender or not, divine femininity isn't about your physical gender. It's about the energy of your receptivity spiritually and emotionally in your life. All right. So I need to know a lot more about you, but hopefully those are some good places to start. And these are the kind of things we're going to be doing in this class coming up on February the 6th. We're going to be talking a lot about what each individual person can work with to step deeper into the healing of the karma and the activation of the dharma. Karma is basically, well, you know what it is. It means energy in motion. It isn't what you got wrong. It isn't what you need to redo. It isn't a punishment. It just means the energy that you put out that's coming back to you that you continue to create in various cycles and patterns. So what rituals do, if you know what the pattern is, then crystal can tell you that too. You can ask it. You can learn how to ask it, and you can wait on the answer. Having a plant ally involved really helps you in that, okay? And then you can go forth and work with the healing of that karmic cycle or activate the dharma that's currently a little dormant because there's been so much spiritual activity with karmic direction, almost like karma is on overdrive for you, right? People have these patterns in love, in money, in friendships and particular family connections, but it kind of seems to go across the board. You'll notice that there'll be some for love that's the same with money, that's the same with friends. You'll just find that pattern everywhere. All right. Let's see. Let me go through another. Where do we start? I think it's Instagram's time to get a question in. Gracie, are you gonna meow at the door? Any crystals or plant medicines that can help with hoarseness of the throat, such as a singer? Yeah, I'm a sound healer who operates through my voice primarily, sometimes crystal bowls and things as well. But there are a lot of the blue calcites. A lot of times with the energy of the throat chakra, it's activating karma. And with channels who are singers, and this goes for anyone who has this and you're a singer or you want to be, a lot of times you don't know how to extend that perfect acceptance. And the karma in that is healing your lack of acceptance towards yourself, your environment, others around you, your relationships with them, or the world in general. So a lot of times when you're working with blue calcite, labradorite, sodalite, all the ITEs in general that are blue or green, amazonite, I have a particular love for in ritual. They're just like magical. Just so lepidolite is the purple, but it still works for throat for some reason with those people. I'm not sure exactly why. But that would be something. Plant medicines, I probably have to know you a little bit more. I probably have to know you a little bit more because, again, I don't know what medicines you're on. I think I got an idea of your gender. A lot of people that work with me will be like, "Oh yeah, I'm not on any medicines." Then a week later, they take an antibiotic and it completely throws everything that we've been doing, with plant medicine. So, but I would say castor circle gold, offer any of those things, but hold it here and breathe upwards. I know it feels a little anti what you've been taught, whether it be Reiki or any other breath practice. You're typically taught to breathe down. I would like for you to breathe from the ground up, hold the energy inside of the crystal and hold it at your throat, turn it around and release it out. Okay. So we're going to be talking about the throat chakra ritual in the class on February the 6th. And that's just one of the basic ways to work with the energy. But the crystals, particularly the throat chakra crystals, when you hold them here while you're breathing upward from Mother Earth, and then you're breathing in, and then you hold that crystal here, and then you turn it, hold your breath for a few seconds, retain the breath, and then exhale light and vibration from the crystal. Mother Earth will take that back from you and your throat will clear. So that's one way. All right. And I would try to figure what emotion extends towards what direction. So we're going to talk about what core beliefs, what valuation systems, whether they be positive or negative, helpful or harmful. In the class on February the 6th, we are going to talk a lot about what belief systems, what karmic patterns represent the north, the south, the east, and the west, what dharmic activations, as per your mission and your purpose, can be activated by working from the north, the south, the east, and the west. That's going to help you a lot too, because you need to know that. You need to know what your karmic patterns are. And that's a lot about what these rituals can help you with that we're going to be discussing in this class. All right. There's so much that we're discussing that I can't even put in a lot of the advertisements that you've been seeing because it's just too much. You'd be like, sure, you're going to discuss it, but you haven't sat through my classes. They can go on for hours. I'm not even joking. Anybody here today can probably testify when they went to the galactic history class. I'm not even going to tell you. And I didn't even get up to pee. It was so long, and it's just because I have a lot to share, and I don't wanna hold it back from you. There's a lot. Let's look at a YouTube question. Um, what crystals are good with working through rejection? Well, let's see. What crystals could make you give less fucks? Cheers. Okay. I'd say this is a solar plexus problem from what I'm sensing thus far about you. When you feel rejection, there can be a lot of karmic patterns coming up. So one of the first things you can do is go into your sacred circle that you cast. If you're in the Northwest hemisphere, cast it to clockwise to your right. And if you're in, the other hemisphere, you need to cast it counterclockwise. So a lot of times when it comes to working with rejection and releasing it and healing it, you need to ask for a revelation of truth, right? I'll give you an example. I moved to a brand new town recently, and I was like, "Oh well, I am really having a hard time here and I feel really not so accepted here, and I'm not sure really how to go about it." And then I had to like ask for a revelation of my karmic patterns related to my truth. And when I did that, it was like, really? It's actually not true that no one's not accepting me. It's just that they don't know me and they're just as uncomfortable as trying to accept me as I am with trying to let them accept me. So it was all based upon energy of people's nervousness around me. And I learned that I exude a lot of energy, and people who are comfortable and accept themselves are good with that. And people who aren't really aren't, right? So then there's the business threshold of that. And this is what I'm sensing about you. So listen up. My sense with you is that there's a business level of rejection. There's something going on in your mastery with your business and your purpose that you feel rejected. It's almost like what's hiding behind this karmic pattern is your fear that you won't be able to do it, because it's like even source rejects the concept of what you're trying to do, or you'll just say it's impossible. So that also isn't true. What the mind doesn't know, it says, is impossible. You haven't evidenced it. So a lot of people think, oh, I have a block, with something with business. You don't have a block, you have a marketing problem, right? Our field is a competitive one. And if you're afraid to be you and to really dig your feet in and to sell yourself because you know that what you have to offer is really incredible, then people don't see you. It's just a marketing problem, right? So when you're working through karmic patterns, it just really shows up everywhere. NM just said it. The username NM on YouTube just said karmic patterns permeate through everything, right? So just look at how that same feeling permeates through other things as well. And that pattern will just like come back in your face and you won't want it. You'll be thinking of all the ways to break through, but ask for a greater revelation of the truth. When you ask for a revelation, and ask it this way, I invoke a direct revelation of the greater truth in this karmic pattern of acceptance. Boom. That's your sacred invocation mic drop. Because when you ask for that to be revealed to you, you're going to get it whether you like it or not. Now you need to keep asking because you get it, and the mind goes, well, so thanks, but now what? Right? You need to keep doing the ritual. That's something that not many practitioners talk about in magic, is that when you do a ritual, you ask for a greater revelation, you get an answer, and then the mind goes, oh my God, I wish I wouldn't have asked. You guys ever done that? And then, I don't know, we have these little sacred phrases. And one of in the YouTube that I just did a couple of days ago, we talked about the 4 vital choices for being happy in 2022. And for anyone who saw that, go ahead and type in the comments, which one am I going to bring about to you in this? You're going to get what you ask for. So this means living an integrous life. This means continuing to really be integrous in what you receive from the divine forces at work in you and surrounding you. So when you get this divine revelation, you need to continue to do the ritual to deepen with deeper inquiry. If you don't know what to do, you need to ask, what is the next step? I ask for a direct revelation of the next most believable step to heal the karma. Ah, I've used this one a lot. I get so excited about this one. Right? And then something comes and you're like, oh my God, that was worse than the worst revelation. That's even harder. So, rule number 4 in the 4 vital choices for 2022 is really understanding that you get what you wish for and doing something about it, not standing in your own way. We are so powerful that we can choose a block and stay in it reluctantly, fervently, and insidiously. Oh my gosh. I laugh because, I'd probably get mad at myself otherwise, because I too have done this. But when you ask for these revelations and you go forth, even if you don't feel that motivated, if you don't feel that you have direction, if you don't feel you have courage, is it really true that you need all that to begin with? I know I said that. Do you need courage, motivation, um, Do you need God to come down from heaven and stamp a big old approval thing on your forehead? I don't think so. I think that's a part of being here and going through this and walking each other home means connecting together. We need each other right now. So, more working together, more being on screen together, more healing sharings together, right? Is important in this way. For us, if you want more motivation, more courage, someone to really see who you are, go find the soul family who do see who you are and walk them home and let them walk you home, right? It's a journey. We don't always feel perfect about it. We just get it done. Okay. Let's see. Who's next? Let's see. YouTube. Let's go over to YouTube and look at the questions there. With karmic patterns permeating through everything, what helps with the pattern of females hating, mistreating me and such? I'm a woman. Boy. You remember when I was talking about accepting what is? Well, there are 3 laws in a creative environment from the earth law perspective, not the universal law perspective, the earth laws. In the laws of Gaia, there are 3 things: your business, someone else's business, or God's business. Whether or not other females hate you or accept you is whose business. Now, I'm being really loving to put it to you this way. I know that's harsh, but I find that in earthly law, in the laws of Gaia, I'm a channel, so it's really hard to stay out of other people's business, but boy, does it hurt. I'm a channel, so it's really hard to stay out of God's business. I know it's going to hurt and I can accept it easier because it's God's business, right? What the angels have to say, my only burden is just to have them pressure me until I share it, right? And I'm going to feel nervous about it. My brain's going to do all this stuff, and my job is just to get through it and share it. But when it comes to human business, if you ask me to get in it, beware. If you ask anyone to get in your business, not just me, think about the power that you're giving to your gurus, the psychics, the healers, your shamans, the witches that you're working with. Do you trust them to be in your business? Do you? Be honest with yourself this year. There are some people that, come to me as clients and I can sit with them for 20 seconds and say, I don't trust you to be in my healing energy. I like you, but I don't trust you. So you can like a lot of people, you can love a lot of people, but do you trust them to be in your energy field is the key here. So does this mean that you need to end up alone because of the issue? If you're a female and other females are getting distracted by your power? No. It means you need to find the other powerful females and walk them home. They're likely having the same issue. I know I do. I find that other females can either they're really in their power and they're right there with me, or they're like, I don't know about you. Right. Right. Okay. Let's look through Instagram. It's your turn. Living an integrous life, deepening your inquiry. What's the next step? Go back through it. Go back through it. I think that, and this was just a channeling that came through. A lot of times with my channelings, I'm like, yep, I'm going to have to go look at what I wrote down, remind myself of what step number 4. Oh, yes. Choose your new language. Words are spells this year. Remember, I told you the theme of the year is simplicity. Well, the mission that we're activating this year is amplifying our alignment. So, yeah, I did write my answer, but then all of I write like a doctor, and then I put several boards on top of each other. And, I don't know if you guys study like that when you get messages. They're all over the place. She wouldn't be able to screenshot it. Can't even read that mess. It looks like chicken scratch. So that one, choose new language and words. And the directive for that is, if there's one thing in your spells, rituals, manifestation work that you're working with this year, if there is a word that you seem to be using that's not getting a result, getting a bad result, if there is one phrase or word that you could eliminate from your life, just use one until you know that that one just doesn't even come across your thought threshold anymore. So I've been working on a phrase for 2 years, and here's my phrase that I'm eliminating in 2022. My colleague Jen Ward pointed it out to me, and I was like, when she pointed it out, but now I'm like, oh God, it's so true. It's hard. That was my spell for 2 whole years. Anytime spirit would try to get me to go further, I'm like, I'm a single mom. Well, now I'm not. I got help. Right. And or I'd be like, oh, I don't spend enough time with my kids. Or I'd be like, oh, and there were some valid excuses. I had a foot surgery last year. I had a surgery on my back. I had to learn to stop getting surgeries and heal myself. Um, so many things I went through with the body in 2020 and 21. So the phrase, the spell that I had cast over myself unintentionally, like the whole ritual of my life at that time, was the phrase, it's hard. And then I would be powerless. I'd be like, oh God, it's so hard. I know it's right. I know it's the right thing. I know where my life is going, but it's hard. Right? So think about, every word is a spell and it holds great power. It's like a whole universe within a universe within a universe of energy pouring through you every time you use a certain word. So what are you going to eliminate this year? Don't worry about what you're going to replace it with. The universe will just let that show up. Okay. You wrote your answer. Are you going to screenshot it? Go for it. Go for it. I'm glad that you wrote that answer. Those were some powerful directives that came through that video. Go back and look at it, guys. It's called The 4 Vital Important Choices for 2022. Will change your life. What helps with apathy? That's my answer. Bring it to a ritual. No, I'm just kidding. Apathy, when you let yourself get that far, you need to go big, because if you don't, your body's about to take you home. The body listens to apathy, and it causes deep illness, whether that be mental or physical, whether that be something incredible like cancer or something horrendous like the deepest, darkest night of the soul that you could possibly fathom. If you choose apathy, you're just basically saying, fuck it, I don't want to live. So do you want to continue that? I've been there. I struggle every single year. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I struggle with seasonal affective disorder every year. And when the winter comes, I used to be like, oh shit, we're about to hit winter. Start, turn on your lights, open up, get up early in the morning when the sun rises, get up. Now I know my body so well that when I feel it coming on, I know exactly what to do. I know it before it's even, this could be days, weeks away, and I know it's coming, right? So when it comes to that, apathy is actually a choice, and it's not the choice to live. It's the choice to not care. It's not quite the choice to die, but your body will do that for you. It'll just make it happen somehow. So it's important with apathy to work with a crystal that brings about life, okay? Powerful crystals that bring about the choice of life. So that could also be connected to a deep karmic pattern. So I would suggest working with the record keeper crystals. Have you heard of those? Those are incredible. Unfortunately, they're expensive. They talk more than any other crystal, and they are just incredible. They're incredible. By the way, if you need a reliable source of crystals, I have 2 of them, and I'm going to be saying right now, they're both incredible. So Sarametta Spiritual Wellness Center is my top source, along with Soul Mama's Rock Shop at Etsy.com. All right. So it's Samantha and Nancy over there at Sarametta, and Penny at Soul Mama's Rock Shop. All right. Those are my favorites for them. I love the stuff they pick out, and they're always, Sarametta and is always live. I haven't caught Penny's lives in a while, but I think she still does lives. But they're always doing these lives. Every time I go there, I'm like, oh God, I'm not going to go in there because this will be $100. Right off the bat. Some crystal will be like, and I can't even stop it. That crystal's like, buy me. No. Right. Oh, right. Let's look through Instagram questions for a second. We'll take 2 more questions, one from Instagram and one from YouTube before we go ahead and crash for the day. Okay. I don't see any yet, but I'm going to scroll through in case I missed any for Instagram. Instagram, you guys are quiet because I did one for you last week with this. Yeah, I don't see any more Instagram questions. All right. So I guess I'll go to YouTube, but Instagram, I'm giving you a chance. We'll come back to you. Okay. What crystals are associated with Ganesha? Gosh, so many. And when I work with Ganesha, you can call in deities in your rituals as well. It's a lot of the earth-based stones that also have more mineral content than crystals. So I really like working with peacock ore for Ganesha. Um, I really also like working with any type of crystal that breaks through things powerfully, like Indian blanket jasper. I unintentionally noticed Ganesha showing up when I was working in ritual with Indian blanket jasper. That was kind of a hard find. I used to stumble upon it in Enterprise, Utah, when I was looking for some land and doing some rock hounding and whatnot. Okay. Let's see, Instagram still hasn't put in a question, so I'll take one more from YouTube. Any advice on how to get more energy and drive? I'm pregnant, but have been feeling that for so long. Were you feeling that even prior to being pregnant? If you were, it might be worth, working with a record keeper, but also designate any crystal. Like, record keepers are expensive, but if you, like, work with, say, a phantom quartz, those are the quartz that have the little anomalies in the center. If you work with any of the quartz and calcites, particularly the ones that are towers, with the points on the ends, you can turn those points every time you work through a direction. You can also work through those particular types and designate them as record keepers for your Akash. You can designate the crystal, particularly if they are the type of crystals with the inclusions and with, the beautiful things in the center, like the phantom quartz. The smoky quartz have some of those same inclusions. They're very beautiful. That in there will be, I don't know how to explain this, but it will be a representing factor for whatever karmic cycle you have in your life. And you'll notice the crystal starts to change color, or the inclusion shifts or moves. Weird things can happen, right? Do I use crystal grids? I do. Yeah, I do. When I moved to a much smaller house, so I haven't made a big one in a while, but yeah, I do. I like to use them just in ways that are just right next to my door or on my desk sometimes. They're just small ones. Let's see. So when you designate that crystal to be the record keeper and you're going into ritual with it, you want to use a tower. And you want to put your thumb on the bottom. I don't think I have a tower around, so we'll just pretend that my Sharpie is a tower. Put your thumb here and try to reach your other finger here. This is why I work with the smaller little towers about this size. And if you can't, you can just put your finger around in this direction towards whatever point of the top of the crystal that you're working with. And you can face it north. You don't have to get up north. Face that crystal north. Do you see what I mean? All right. So you'll get greater wisdom. And when you start asking for revelations of greater wisdom from the north, you will start to get, it's like that crystal that has been designated as your record keeper for your Akash. it will begin to run things through your mind, little plops of thought, little downloads of information. And it'll go very fast at first, or it'll be something that comes in so quickly that you're not even sure. And sometimes the mind likes to say, oh, yeah, I made that up, all sorts of things. But it's really, really important that you ask for deeper, you inquire more deeper, and you're like, okay, I ask for clarity. If you don't understand what it is, I invoke direct clarity about the vision. So that's your invocation for that. And it continues, keep that crystal facing north, breathe through it. Sometimes when you hold it towards your chest, that's really helpful for you being able to clear whatever karmic pattern is coming up through the Akash, because it'll draw it out. So that's the point of the crystal facing this way, right? If this is a tower crystal, right? Or a pointer that you're working with. I like towers. And then the end of it's here at your chest. Okay. So these are just little things that I work through in time. Some of them pass through my teachers. Some of them pass through my lineage. Some of them pass through just gathering experience and just trying things out. Don't be afraid to try things out. You are your own shaman. You are your own inner guru is going to come through you and show you, right? However, if something's not working, don't keep doing it again. Keep asking for deeper clarity. Ask for deeper wisdom and ask for deeper clarity of that wisdom if you don't understand it, etc. Right? Okay. I still don't see an Instagram, people. You guys must be busy on a Sunday. No questions from Instagram just yet. All right. And YouTube, you guys are still kicking strong and hard. Everybody must have moved on over to YouTube and turned Instagram off. uh Oh, Darylyn, I have a bone to pick with you. You didn't even reschedule. You just canceled. What's up? You okay? Calling you out. What's up with you? Okay. Crystal for enlightenment. It's not going to be what you think. It's not going to be the record keeper. It's not going to be the quartz. Depending upon what you are working through in your karma, you need to ask for a crystal, and it should call to you. It should be a crystal that you are drawn to. And it will also be the crystal that's difficult to work with, like you're drawn to it, but it makes you feel. So for me, that happens to be labradorite and smoky quartz. I have a massive smoky quartz in my house that's about like this big. And I remember when I got it, I was still like, oh my gosh, that thing, like I'm so drawn toward it, but every time I get near it, I cry. Okay, that's it. That's the crystal for realization. You need a crystal that's going to drag the pain out of you, put it right before your face, and help you heal it. Right? Shan said, I got my husband to believe crystals by using an amethyst tower on his head and he felt it. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's how it was with my teenagers. I have one teenager who was particularly like, "Oh, mom, yeah." I mean, I probably people feel good when you do Reiki and healing and your healing stuff, but it's just probably because you have a comforting voice. And one day he was on his little dirt bike and he fell off. He was just learning how to ride it and he fell and he broke his ankle and his collarbone. And I took him to the ER. He was screaming. He was like, just not, he's like, I feel so not manly. Just please do your healing though. I don't care. I'm like, well, other people couldn't be looking. We in the ER, the nurses come in. He's like, I don't care. And the doctor came and he kind of touched it and he was like, oh yeah, that collarbone's broken. And I'm gonna have to get an x-ray, but that ankle's really likely broken as well. And because it was jutting out, you could completely see it. And we did some healing and I just happened to have a crystal in my pocket. So I started being all weird and he was like, I don't care, mom. I don't care. They won't even give me any painkillers yet. Just do something. And it took a while. Honestly, it took about 30 minutes, but by the time they came back in, his pain was gone. And he's like, oh, you mean it's not hurting anymore? So they did an x-ray and it's not broken. Nothing was broken. So from that day forth, he believed me. It was interesting. All right. Well, I think we should go. I'm going to go be with my kids for the rest of the weekend, but I just love this sacred gathering with all of you. And thank you, Instagram, for coming as well to these classes. You'll learn something new. I know if you see me on here, you're like, oh, more stuff about crystals, but believe me, you will learn something new every time you join one of these. So that's good. A crystal to get clearer, connecting to my beloved, calling it in or communicating in the astral. Well, let me ask you to ask yourself honestly this. What does beloved mean to you? A lot of us attach beloved to like an idea, a person. Maybe they are in the astral right now. Maybe they have passed. Maybe they haven't even been here as a human yet. Maybe they are here and they left. But we attach the word beloved to a person, and it's one of the worst things that we can do. When we start to work with crystals, we understand that the beloved is an energy, not a being, right? The beloved is an essence. It can jump from person to person. I know you guys won't like that, but the truth about twin flames is that it's an essence that jumps from person to person. Why? Because all of us in the universal law of oneness, we're all the same being pretending to be different. So when we ask for the beloved, it's really important that we set up a grid in that and we keep calling that in and we ask to see it in our physical realm. Because otherwise we get addicted to looking to it in the astral, and then it does come in the astral. We don't want to spend the rest of our lives in the astral, connecting to beloved there. We need to ask to bring it from there to here. So in that case, you need a crystal and a ritual that joins two worlds. All right. So that could be, again, back to the record keepers, but you need one that's a little bit more tower oriented so that you can point it in all directions. All right. And when you do that, point that direction in the north and use this invocation. I call back my beloved from the north and through the space of all time infinitum. Yeah. And then go east. I call back my beloved from the east and the space of all time infinitum. I call back my beloved from the south and the space of all time infinitum. I call my beloved from the west through the space of all time infinitum. And then go to the center, create an altar, either literally or in your mind, and say, and now I am my beloved. And imagine all that energy into you, that you are the beloved. And then ask for a revelation of the beloved in all that you see, all who cross your path. Ask to see the beloved in everything and everyone. Keep asking every day, keep doing these rituals. And you're going to understand that you stop even worrying about beloved. You're just going to be like, I feel the beloved in everything and everyone. And then suddenly, whatever the beloved is or whoever it wants to be embodying in that moment, it's going to become apparent to you. And it probably was right up underneath your nose. Now, let me tell you this. Being in the essence and presence of the beloved will heal you. And if you don't like healing, it's like it can heal you or it can kill you. Which do you want? Choose life. Choose healing and know that it's hard. Everyone keeps asking for the beloved, keeps asking for the twin flame. Well, guess what? That is the mastered you looking back at you, kicking your ass into healing. And you're either going to walk home with them or you're going to walk away. So remember your equals and remember that it is difficult to be with the beloved when they come in form, and it's worth it. So I'll leave you with that. Please go ahead and if you are a patron and you want your 30% code, it expires on January the 23rd. So that 30% off of the crystal class is over very, very soon. So please don't forget to message us from your Patreon account. If you're not a patron, go join. It's really cheap. And when you do, remember to message us from your Patreon account and let us know you want that code. We'll get it to you right away so that you can get that 30% off of the crystal healing and ritual magic class. All right. Oh my goodness, it was so good to see you on a Sunday. I haven't been here on a Sunday in a very long time, and I am just thrilled to be in your energy once again, and happy that we could spend this short amount of time together. And I will see you on February the 6th for the 5 top healing rituals, and then the 5 top rituals for elemental magic and awakening you to who you are. And that's February the 6th. You can join that at PamelaAaralyn.com. You can find my Patreon and get all the great discounts for it at patreon.com/Pamela Aaralyn. We've got a channeling and a class coming up next week. More Druidic studies, more alchemy, more energy work, more nature mysticism. You don't have to be any level to join this. Nothing like that. It's for anybody. It's for beginners and masters. So I will see you very, 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 very soon. All right. Bye, Instagram, and bye, YouTube. Be blessed.